Unpack this first. Wait, real
Are you
quick,
in your
real
late
quick.
20s?
No. Mid-20s. I'm 25.
Mid-20s. You're in your mid-20s talking about sugar pills, bro. Come
Ready?
on, bro.
Hear me out. Give me a second.
All right.
So, do you understand the implications of placebo effect?
I don't care. Really.
Okay. And this is why you don't care, because it doesn't point to Islam. It points to Christ. This is why I care so much about it. This is why I know Christ, because I see placebo effect and I see Christ in life. I see Christ in scientific.
I see you in the comments.
I know placebo effect. I got something else.
All right.
Okay.
What you got?
Every major religion affirms Christ, right? Every major religion tries to take a piece of Christ. They want to touch Christ.
I know. It's like I hate when Christianity tries to take a piece of Christ.
Yeah. So every major religion trying to touch Christ.
Yep. Like Christianity. Yeah.
But what does Christ say?
Yeah, Christ says he's a Muslim.
Christ says that he's the way, the truth, and the life, and no one gets to the Father except through him.
That's true of every prophet.
Cap.
Oh, it's literally true of every prophet.
Every prophet has said that?
Us as the Christians, even though we fell into falsehood. So we're showing you where you fell into
that's
falsehood.
That's not what I said. I said, why would he ever affirm a religion following a prophet when the prophet was supposed to point to God? At the
We
end
never
of the day?
said, but we already agreed in the beginning, and I clarified this, and right now we're doing a big circle that we don't affirm the religion in totality. We say that there's true teachings within Christianity, but we say a lot of falsehood has been inserted within. Now, whenever we look for the seeds of truth, you reject these seeds of truth and you follow man's tradition, while we follow
Brother,
the seeds of truth.
If we affirm the religion, why would we have our own religion?
Exactly.
How does that make any sense?
So does the Quran not say that Christians are people who hold the truth?
No, the Quran says that Christians are the worst of creatures.
Okay, that's one thing it says. Is that all that it says about Christians?
So no, it says good things about Christians.
There's more.
Do you not hear me? I said it says good things about Christians in terms
so why
of
jump to the bad when there's more?
Because you have to categorize things. So the Quran speaks about Christians in terms of their i'tiqad, in terms of their beliefs, and it speaks of Christians in terms of their behavior as people. So when the Quran speaks of Christians as behavior as people, generally speaks as good. It says that among them are monks and righteous people that are pious, that you could trust, that if you lend some money to, they'll give it back to you in time, right? But some of them, you lend some money to.
Yo, chill. Why'd you look at me when you said that, bro? Like, what's good with you?
I'm just maybe.
I'm a trustworthy person, bro.
We never know. But so in terms of their i'tiqad, they are sharrul bariyah. They are the worst of creatures. Why?
You're supposed to talk to me gracefully.
I know, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you are.
Am I yelling at you?
Nah, you are.
Yeah, but in terms of their i'tiqad, they are sharrul bariyah, as Allah says in Surah Al-Bayyinah. Allah says in Surah Al-Bayyinah that the Christians, the Jews, and the polytheists are the worst of creatures. Why? Because they are mushrikeen. They are all idolaters.
Okay. They're all idolaters, so they're bad in their belief. That's what you're saying?
Yes, of course. Their belief is they're the worst belief you could have.
Okay. So Islam directly, like, it slaps the core doctrine of Christianity in the face, says get out the way. So
yes,
what is the core doctrine of Christianity? And what's the truthful core doctrine of Christianity?
The death and resurrection and the Trinity.
No. No. I'm saying for you, like from the Islamic view, what is the truth?
You asked for both. You said, what is the core doctrines of Christianity? And then you asked for, what are the true...
I meant to, like, supersede my first one with the second one.
Okay, the true foundational teachings that you'll find within Christianity is to not forsake God's covenant, to uphold the laws, the customs, the traditions, and the decrees that God has commanded humanity to uphold, to worship one God and to not associate partners to him. And this is the way, the truth, and the life.
That's more Old Testament Jewish, though. That's not Christian.
No, this is what Jesus taught within his ministry. Right? If you want to go to these elements of falsehood, right, we can easily disprove passion predictions, right? We can point flaws and internal contradictions, internal inconsistencies, developed customs and traditions that are completely contrary to what Jesus taught, developed theology that is completely contrary to what Jesus taught. We can show all of this within your tradition, within your history.
Okay. So essentially, most of what we have today in the New Testament is cap.
The letters from Paul, yeah, the totality of it, I would say 99%, 99.9% of it, cap, nonsense, gibberish, falsehood,
Okay.
paganism,
Has there been a fully compiled gospel
whenever it
that
comes to
is
the
completely
tradition?
against what we have now?
Has there been a formulated gospel in the past that was completely contrary to what you believed in?
Completely
Yeah,
formulated,
you
complete
can go.
gospel.
You can appeal to any sort of Gnostic literature. You can appeal to even
No,
the
that's not a
gospel that you have.
gospel.
That is, they have the gospel of Basilides. They have the gospel of Peter.
Well, yeah,
All
it's
right,
a gospel in that
they have
sense,
the
but
gospel of
they're
Mary
separate
Magdalene, the
books.
gospel of Philip. Yeah, we're telling you this.
Oh,
There's
it's
many
still
different gospels
gospel. It's
floating
still
around.
gospel.
Those have never been accepted, though.
You just asked, yeah, exactly. You just asked for something historically that went contrary to what's in your new canon or in your New Testament canon. Now, I even said, even the Gospels, the earlier Gospels that we can appeal to, go completely contrary to your theological beliefs that were established in the church, that were developed over 350 years after
compiled, like a
Jesus' death.
book, like a New Testament book, not like separate, Mary Magdalene, Barnabas, cap.
What are you referring to? Like a specific canon, a specific
Yeah, like let's
individual
just
who
even say
formalized the
Matthew,
canon?
Mark, Luke, and John. Like that could be like considered a full compilation of the gospel.
Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is not in line with what you practice.
Okay, that's a different topic. I definitely
That's
100%
literally the
disagree
topic.
with
That's
that.
literally the topic. You're saying that my teachings that I abide by are in congruency with what we find from the New Testament.
No,
We
what
talked
I'm
about
getting to
earlier
is the
that
core
the
doctrine of
customs that you uphold.
Christianity has never changed. The core doctrine of Christianity that you guys
That is not
has
true.
never changed. It's always been
That is not true.
the first
That
one that
is
you said is what it's always been, the
that is
Trinity.
not that
And
is
then
not the
Jesus
case.
died on the cross and he resurrected on the third day.
That is just
That's never
simply
changed. Okay,
that is
wait.
just
Actually,
you're just
I'll say
simply
this then. I'll
mistaken.
say this. The core doctrine of Christianity being a follower of Christ, that being one of the core tenets, has never changed.
You are this is why it's ignorance is a disease to the heart. You are so deeply mistaken that it's not even funny.
Help me out.
In the time of Paul, Christians were disagreeing about this doctrine that's never changed.
I changed what I said. I changed it to being a follower. Sorry about this. I changed it to being a follower of Christ.
Everybody,
Scripturally, skip all that.
a bunch of people claimed Christ, though, and they all disagreed.
Well, just the idea of following Christ, following a man in a lot
Following
of sense,
what?
they know what they were talking about.
Following what?
Him, a prophet that was supposed to point
and
to God.
where
He
do you-
pointed to himself.
No, he pointed to God and to himself.
he did this.
All prophets point to God and themselves.
So where's the Moses religion? Where's the Abraham religion?
It's called Judaism. That's the Moses religion.
Oh,
It's called the
Jesus was a
religion
Jew,
of
though.
Torah. It's called the religion of Torah observance. It's called the religion of the Israelites.
Yeah. What about the Jonah religion?
It's called submission. Anybody who is upon what Jonah was upon, then he was a submitter.
Yeah. Well, I do have to say, like, according to what I've seen of the Quran, and I could very well be.
They're not different religions. It's the same religion.
This is what I've seen, that Jesus's purpose was to say that Muhammad was coming and to say submit to God. Why would he need his own book, his own religion for this message that's already been taught?
He doesn't have his own. He doesn't have his own religion. It's the same religion.
So why would it say Jews and Christians in the Quran instead of just saying that he doesn't need a religion, he shouldn't have a religion?
Because the Jews and the Christians deviated from the religion of their prophets.
So where's the truth in them?
Islam.
You got to explain that. That confused me.
Islam is the religion that God sent down upon all his prophets. It is to. What is Islam? Let me tell you what it is. Al-Islam هو الاستسلام لله بتوحيده والانقياد له بالطاعة.
What?
Islam is complete submission to God by singling him out and complete obedience and submission to what he commands from you.
Gotcha.
Okay? فمن لم يستسلم لله فهو المستكبر. The one who doesn't submit, then he is arrogant against God. Okay? ومن استسلم لله وغيره فهو المشرك. And whoever submits to God and to other than him, then he is an associator, he's disbelieved, he's a mushrik. أما من استسلم لله وحده فهو الموحد. But whoever submits to God alone,
Respectfully, bro, I got
this
it. Okay.
person is a monotheist.
Okay.
This is Islam. It's that simple. It's submitting, surrender to God alone.
Okay.
In singling him out in worship and in obedience.
I got you. So why do you need a gospel for that?
The gospel
It's
is
a very
a
simple
guide.
message, like you said. It is very simple.
The gospel
It's
is
very
a,
simple.
I'll tell you, the gospel is a guidance for the people. As the Quran is a guidance, as the Torah is a guidance. It's like a manual. You know,
Wait,
when you
so
buy
quick question.
something, just one second,
Quick
bro.
question.
Hold on.
Wait, just real quick. So
Okay.
what is the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament? Like the Islamic perspective, the truth of both of them. What is the difference between the Injil and the Torah? What's the fundamental message difference? Why did there need to be
One second. I'm getting a call in. Just answer that.
Yeah.
Continuity. Now it's up to us to sift through, all right, and find what's true and find what's false. Go ahead.
Okay, so I see where you're coming from. I do have a question of, does it say that the Bible has seeds of truth, or does it say that it is the revelation given by Allah?
It says, first of all, whenever it comes to the Quranic perspective on the previous scripture, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that the people of the book have forsaken their covenant multiple times, and they've concealed many
Facts.
things as well. All right. And specifically when it's referring to the Jews, it talks about them distorting the scripture with their tongues and with their hands. Right. Whenever it comes to the Christians, it talks about how they've lied and how they deified Jesus and how they've said that God is one of three and how they've basically followed innovative customs and traditions like monasticism, right? Ascetic practices that God never commanded. So whenever it comes to how these Christians formulated their texts, established their texts, canonized their texts, and the elements of falsehood that they incorporated within it, the Quran deems this as a corruption, a forgery, bid'ah. Get away from it as fast as possible.
Okay.
Jeffrey, you know Islam suits you.
Got the beard.
You already got the beard. Just shave the mustache a little bit, trim it.
Yeah.
What you mean, handlebar?
Clean it up.
Clean it up a little bit, man. That's the prophet. The prophet commanded that we should keep the beard long and trim the mustache, because the pagans, the idol worshippers, they used to do what? They used to have the mustache so long,
Little twirly mustache.
unkept. Like
Yo,
you know,
handlebar.
you know who does this? If you go to Punjab, modern day Sikhs. I'm serious. Modern day Sikhs. They keep their beards long and they don't shave their mustache at all, and it looks super messy. So trim the mustache, keep the beard, and you look like the prophets. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Telling you, Jeffrey.
Well, okay. So I see what you guys are saying. I did also see that the Quran does say something about the Trinity, that he's not three. And then there's another passage with him talking to Jesus or something.
Yes.
I don't know if it's,
Yeah, you're right. That's in chapter 5, verse 72, where the condemnation upon the Trinity is, and the conversation between Isa alayhi salam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment is in chapter 5, verse 116, all the way to 120, where the Christians have taken partners of association with as worship with Allah. Even Mary, right, is included within the Quran as a specific individual who was associated as a partner in worship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with the Christians deify Jesus as well.
But that's so confusing, bro.
That's
what's confusing about it, man.
It says that there, but then it also doesn't it essentially affirm the Injil and the Torah, which I'm sure
The
you guys
Injil
have
and the
looked into
Torah,
history.
Jeffrey,
Wait, real quick. I'm sure
go
you
ahead.
guys have looked into the history of the gospel. You
Of
guys
course.
have probably seen the Syriac Peshitta, which was circulating
Of
in the
course.
land of Arabia. So you
Sure.
guys know, you guys know the gospel that Muhammad would have most likely been in, like he would have had in his life. He would have had people around him who knew of the Syriac Peshitta. So you would know what's in
Hey,
Syriac
hey Jeffrey, this is what you look like, man.
This guy was looking
tell
for
me you
that
don't
this
look
whole time.
Tell me you don't look the same.
I
You
can.
see
I'm
it?
not gonna lie, no cap. I can see that. I can see it.
You know who this guy is? Well, not actually him. It's just an actor. But
I'm ahead,
this
I'm
is
ahead.
this is one of the companions of the Prophet who went to battle 100 times and lost 0 of them.
That's a good
He,
kill death ratio. No cap.
he is said to be the greatest warrior in history. And the Prophet gave him the title of Sayfullah, the sword of Allah. This guy is no joke. So
That's a fire title.
if you became Muslim, you could be badass. I'm just saying, like you could really, like, you know what I'm saying? You can embody this character.
Yeah.
I'm serious, bro.
No, I see it. I do look like it.
Anyway, continue what you're saying though.
Okay, so it is confusing. So you guys did mention that the Quran specifically says that God is not 3, and then he asked Jesus if he took himself as a deity aside Christ, like him and Mary, and he was like, no. But then doesn't it like affirms the Injil? It says for at least for the Christians, like if the Christians want to know like about God, go to your book. And I know you guys have done history, like you've looked into what gospel will be around Muhammad, and
Yes.
most likely for my studies, it looks like the Syriac Peshitta. And you guys would have seen that the core tenets of Christianity that we have today were still there in that Peshitta. So it's like, how are you going to tell me to look in my book for truth, but this is what the truth tells me?
Jeffrey, first of all, even if you appeal to the Peshitta, the Peshitta is not going to stipulate any sort of Trinitarian doctrine where you have Father, Son, Holy Spirit, co-equal, co-eternal, consubstantial, 3 hypostases or persons, 1 usia or essence, and they are all homoousios. They're all of one substance. They're all of one essence. No. And when we talk about confirming the Injil, right, we're talking about the breadcrumbs and the seeds of truth within them. Now, these would consist of basically teachings and sayings of Jesus. This is what we would affirm, right? Teachings pertaining to parables, right? The parable of the mustard seed, the parable of the workers, the parable of the tenants, the parable of the wedding banquet. We would affirm these parables. Why? Because we have them mentioned within our Quran and our Sunnah, our Hadith tradition. Teachings pertaining to theology, even, right? Like I mentioned a couple verses that have no sort of problems, right, with interpreting this or understanding this from the Islamic framework. Right, Jesus basically speaking on God and saying, "No, why call me good? Right, no one is good except God alone." Right, right. Whenever it comes to Him, clearly, explicitly stating that there's only one true God. Right, the Elethenon Theon is who? The Father, the God above Him. Right. So whenever we read the 4 Gospels that you have, we can see a lot of theological teachings that are correlative to the Islamic narrative and understanding of what Jesus would have taught. Right. So theology, parables, teachings and sayings, teachings on charity, right? Teachings on
There's
the
nothing contrary
condemnation.
to it.
Are there things that are contrary to it? If you can bring me a verse, I can give you a proper assessment or proper interpretation or a light of interpretation from the Islamic point of view and the early historical point of view, and I can show you or tell you if it's a development in either like interpretation or development within the text itself, something that was inserted or added later on, right? But basically, just to summarize real quick the point while you think of a verse, the teachings and the sayings, the teachings on the parables, the teachings on theology, teachings on charity, the condemnation upon the children of Israel and the correction upon the children of Israel, right, to the teachings about a prophet coming after and the teachings about the day of judgment, so on and so forth, and the Dajjal. Right, this is what we believe that Isa alayhi salam would have taught within his life and his ministry. We have this within our tradition. We see this historically. If we do and employ some sort of redactionist methodology, right, and go to the earliest communities and what they were following, we can see a lot of these seeds of truth to a higher degree. Right, very simple. But do you have a specific verse from the Bible that?
Yeah,
And this
I'd even say like John 1:1.
John 1:1 isn't something that Jesus ever uttered. John 1:1 is something that someone else wrote about Jesus at a later time, 70, 80 years later. And John 1:1, we can understand it from framework or the historical way of understanding this is not in line with Trinitarianism, not Nicene Trinitarianism, not the Council of Constantinople and the Trinitarian.
Here, let's do it this way. Did Jesus understand the gospel? What the authors of his biographies commented, or did he understand the gospel to be his direct teachings from his mouth?
I'm not sure.
When Jesus was preaching the gospel, was he preaching John 1:1? Was he walking around saying, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God?
No,
Everything was created through the Word, and without
This
the
was
Word,
something after.
nothing.
This was something after.
Right. So then the earliest and most historical understanding of the gospel is the teachings of Christ.
Okay.
Okay. So when you quote John 1:1, why would that be considered the gospel?
Well, because okay, this is what I would say. For me, I believe everything in that book to be holy.
Why? For what?
Because
That's like
you
saying
want my
I believe.
testimony, or you want like what do you want? Because I can
my
tell you it's because Christ changed my life. That's
okay.
that's
Okay. Just because Christ changed your life, it doesn't mean John 1:1 is holy now. There's no
You
link.
asked me why. It is anecdotal.
No, but
you asked me why.
there's no link between these two. Christ changed your life. That means John 1:1 is holy.
Yes,
Where did you make the jump?
because it's the Bible.
Okay, but
It's
how do you
inspired
know?
by the blowing. He blew
What's
the
the
Spirit
Bible?
onto
What's
John.
the Bible?
Well,
Did
at least I'll
Jesus
speak of the Gospels. I'll speak.
did
of the
Jesus
Gospels.
speak about this Bible?
Biblos.
I don't believe that he spoke of a book to come per se.
All right. So what? So then, how do you know that Jesus changed your life? That means John 1:1.
Doesn't that just sound right?
No, it just sounds like it just sounds like you correlate Jesus with Christianity. And because
Well, yeah.
Christianity has these developed dogmas, therefore it must be Jesus. But there's no jump there. There's no
it is
historical
consistent.
case that you
It
can
is,
make.
and also as you're speaking, the brains, the things we're working around. It
Yeah.
is consistent with the rest of the gospel. Like in the beginning was the
It's
word. And the word was
it's
with God,
not.
and the word was
That
God. I'll
that
tell you.
it's-
I'll tell you how. I'll
it's
tell you how. I'll tell you how. I'll tell you
yeah.
how. Because then another. I don't have the direct scripture off the top of my
We'll
head.
tell
I'm
you.
sure we
Go
can
ahead.
find it.
Let's read it.
I'm sure we can
So
find it.
where does Mark
But speaking
speak
of-
about? So where does Mark speak in similar
I think
language?
I was going to Mark. What'd you say?
So does Mark speak in similar language?
I don't know if it's in Mark or Luke, but
Not even
Lord,
Luke.
even
Not
the
even
Lord-
Luke speaks in similar language.
the Son of Man is Lord of even the Sabbath.
That's in Mark
Matt-
3
And Matthew.
or Mark 2, I think, or 3. Yeah, one of them. Yeah, what about it?
The Son of Man is Lord of even the Sabbath.
Yeah,
How do you
they-
have lordship over the law, over
Hum-
even a part of the law.
Yeah, all humans are Lord over the Sabbath. That's what Jesus is saying.
Wait, is that what you believe?
Yes.
You believe that you're Lord over the law?
Yes.
Stop the cap.
Not the
Stop
law,
the
the Sabbath.
cap.
The Sabbath. The
Okay.
Sabbath.
Even part of the law. Sabbath is it was integral
Well,
to the
don't
law. It
argue
was one
with
of
me.
the
Don't argue.
majors.
Don't argue with me. That's what Jesus said.
I'll argue this. You
No,
know that
just-
you are not
just-
Lord
just-
over the law.
I'm not Lord over the law. I'm Lord over the Sabbath, like Jesus is. That's what he says. Don't argue with me. Do you want to read it?
Previously, you just said that you are Lord over the law with some conviction. Also,
No, I said Lord over the Sabbath.
No, you didn't.
I
You
said
afterwards.
I said Lord over the Sabbath.
Okay, you didn't, but like we'll go from here. We'll go from here.
Yeah.
So how
No, I
important-
definitely did. Okay. Yeah. Said
it's
Lord
okay,
over the
it's okay.
Sabbath.
I'll grant it.
Yeah.
So, what is the Sabbath in relation to the law? What is the Sabbath?
It's the holy day, Saturday, the day of rest.
If somebody is Lord of the holy day, what is that? What does that imply?
It means that man wasn't made for the Sabbath. Sabbath was made for man. So even the
Okay,
Son of
you
Man
know
is
the
Lord
scripture,
even
man.
over
I
the
get
Sabbath.
You know the scripture, but that's not what that implies.
That's literally what Jesus says it implies. You see
What
how
does
you see
being Lord of the
you're
Sabbath imply?
saying you follow Jesus, but like you don't care what he said. That's what he says. Do you want to go to the
Okay.
verse? Let's
No,
pull it
I
up.
get what you says. Hold on, wait, just real quick.
No, let's go to the
engage on this
verse.
point real quick. Before we move on, let's engage on this point real quick.
Yeah, we are.
What
Let's
does it
read the
imply
verse.
to mean?
Let's read the
What is-
verse.
Thank you.
One sec. Let's just read the verse, man.
Yo, that's some rice and tuna, man.
That's
Okay.
nice, man.
So let's read the verse and then let me come back to the question. Or you'll ask your question and let's come back to this. Because
Here.
this
one
is a
sec,
separate
man.
point. The
All right,
implications
here-
of being Lord of the Sabbath.
Here. Let's go. One sec.
You're gonna say what the Jews meant about it, bro.
Here we go. This is it.
All right.
One Sabbath, he was going through the grain fields, and as they made their way, his disciples began to pluck heads of grain. The Pharisees said to him, "Look, why are they doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath?" So the Pharisees interpret this action to be unlawful on the Sabbath.
I
Jesus
agree.
replies, and he said to them, "Have you never read what David did when he and his companions were hungry and in need of food?" Okay, why is he quoting David here?
Because the actions are there's a comparison to be
So
made.
David is Lord over the Sabbath.
No. David's
What?
actions.
So what
are
is he saying about David?
I got you.
Go ahead.
Give me a second. David's actions are comparable to the disciples' actions.
Okay,
with
good.
That
So
logic,
then-
with that logic, you would also
So
have
then,
to say
so
that the
David is
disciples
Lord
are
over the
Lord.
Sabbath.
No,
So
no.
David was allowed to break the ruling, right?
The disciples were also allowed, but they're not.
Okay,
Lord
so
over the
they're
Sabbath.
so they're all lords over the Sabbath.
No, you're okay. I get your point.
That-
But you
that's-
also have to
that-
understand
that's-
my point. I
That's
completely
the
disagree with what
entailment.
you're saying.
We're not done though. We're not done. Let's keep
All right.
finishing. David did when he and his companions were hungry and in need of food. How he entered the house of God when Abiathar was high priest. This is wrong, by the way. He wasn't high priest. That's a different issue. When Abiathar was high priest and ate the bread of the presence, which is not lawful for any but the priest to eat, and he gave some to his companions. Okay, Jesus is comparable with David. Companions of David are comparable to disciples of Jesus, right?
I can see how you would say that. Hold up.
No, that's what it says, not how I say.
No,
It's
hold up. Give
literally
me
what
one
it
second.
says.
Give me
Yeah.
1 second. On the Sabbath, he was going through the grain fields, and as they made their way, his disciples began to pluck heads of grain. The Pharisees said to him, "Look, why are they doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath?" And he
Mhm.
said to them, "Have you never read what David did
When
when he
he
and his
and
companions,
uh-huh,
were hungry and in need of food? How he entered the house of God when Abiathar was high priest and ate the bread of the presence,
which is
which,
not lawful
yeah,
for
of
any
any,
but the priest to eat, and he
yeah."
gave some to his companions. So here, Jesus is comparing himself with David and Jesus' disciples with Jesus' companions, right?
I could see it.
Beautiful. Verse 27. Then he said to them, "The Sabbath was made for humankind, and not humankind for the Sabbath. So, very important. So, the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath." Why does this prove this? What's the link?
The Sabbath was made for humankind, not humankind for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man.
So, why does Sabbath being subject to humankind prove what comes after it? That Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath.
Yeah. Well, it would appear to be like a seamless, like not even transition. Like it's just like, okay, man, Sabbath wasn't made for man. Man was no. The Sabbath was
The
made
man
for
wasn't made for the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Sabbath was made for man. So therefore, Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath. So why does what come before prove the Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath?
I see your point. I see where this is leading to. I see
It's
the logical.
it's so you literally can't miss it with your eyes closed.
Not me, but I see the
So
conclusions
what you can't see it any other way. Trinitarian scholars say this, like Joel Marcus in his commentary in the Gospel of Mark from the Anchor Bible Commentary, chapter 1 to chapter 8.
So
Okay,
Christian
he's a
scholars-
Trinitarian and he says the same thing. So look, this is what's going on.
I'm not dancing when I ask this
All right,
question.
so
I'm not
let me
dancing
just
when
tell
I
you
ask
what's
this
going
question.
on quick.
Let me
All
ask
right?
wait, just real quick. Let me ask a question.
Sure, man.
So do Christian scholars say that I'm Lord over the law? Or I'm Lord of the Sabbath?
Yes, Joel Marcus and Adela Collins say that. Yeah.
See, I see the conclusion you're making. I see the logic that you're drawing. But
It's not the logic.
Agree.
Oh my God. It's not the logic.
I get you. But
It's
I can't agree with the conclusion.
Jesus's argument, not mine. Jesus is making an argument. He's arguing against the Pharisees. He's
I don't know if that's what
outsmarting
he's
them.
saying, though.
That's his logic, not mine. Jesus says, look, David, he did something unlawful in the time of necessity. And because it's out of necessity, it becomes lawful. Then he follows, Sabbath was made on account of man, not the other way around, meaning we're not subject to the Sabbath. Sabbath was made to be subject to us for our benefit. Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath. Because God created the Sabbath for us, we are Lord over it. Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
I
Dude.
agree with your logical connections, but my hard-headedness won't let me agree with the conclusion.
That's Jesus. Listen, if you
Wait,
don't
real quick.
agree with the conclusion, then Jesus's argument fails, and you say that he failed.
No, this is why I disagree with that point you just made as well. Because it reminds me of like when the Pharisees are going to stone him, and then he's saying, "Why are you stoning me?" And then he goes on to say, like, doesn't it say that ye are gods? And then later on he says that, so how much more is the Son of God? So that's like the connection I'm making here. Like I'm seeing that with this lens now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly the point. The point is either Jesus's argument works, what comes before proves what comes after, or his argument fails and it doesn't follow. Which one is it?
No, there's nothing failure about Jesus. But
All
I would
right.
like
So
this.
then his argument works.
So if you're Lord of the Sabbath, I don't
Just
know.
wait. His
don't know.
argument
But
works,
wait.
right?
I don't know.
Does his argument just wait? Does his argument work?
I don't know if I fully understand this argument to say if it works or not.
Okay. All right, it's right there. His
No, I'm
argument
hip.
is his argument is verse
Just because it's
27.
there doesn't mean I understand it. But I
It's-
see
it's-
your
it's there.
understanding.
He says the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. That's
So
his
that means
argument.
I can alter the Sabbath.
He's not altering the Sabbath. Oh my God.
But if I'm Lord of the Sabbath, that means I can do that.
it doesn't.
Thinks he's
What does that
Constantine.
mean though?
Oh my God. It doesn't mean you're. Oh my God. It means the Sabbath is made for your benefit.
No, but he says Lord. And then
Oh
you
my
agree
God.
with Lord. But what does it mean to be a Lord of the Sabbath?
Brother,
This is why I can't agree with the conclusion.
this is idiomatic language.
What does that mean?
Jesus is not saying, he's not even altering the Sabbath here. How are you drawing that conclusion?
He's not. You're right. Well, not entirely, but subtly you could.
Is he
say
altering the
there's an altering.
Sabbath?
I wouldn't say altering per se. I would agree. I would
All
say
right, all
altering.
right, good. So
But it's
he's
something
he's
akin to
not
that.
he's not altering at
something like
all.
that, though.
At all. Why?
There's an allowance,
Because-
which is something of an altering. That's an exception.
No. He's saying
No.
that in God's law, you could break a law out of necessity, and that is
allowance.
permissible.
An allowance.
But that is permissible in itself.
Hey, I've seen your lines of logic. When I'm making logical points too, allowance was the
You're
right
not
word.
making any logical points.
Allowance was 100% the right word there. And you said no, just say no.
It's
And
not
then
an
you said allowance differently. What the heck?
It's not an allowance. It's not an
I'll
allowance.
say. Actually, that point doesn't matter.
God allows, permits that in any case of necessity, you are to do contrary to the general ruling. That is Jesus's point. He's saying, I am not breaking the Sabbath because even David went and did this and he wasn't considered sinful for it. Was David considered sinful for it? Did he break the Sabbath? Did he break the law?
It was allowed. It was allowed. And
So he wasn't sinful for it, right?
No.
So Jesus isn't doing anything sinful. That's the point. The point is they're accusing him of doing something sinful. Okay, beautiful. So then the argument that Jesus puts forward is humanity was not made for the Sabbath. God didn't make us so we could observe the Sabbath. Rather, he made the Sabbath so it could be of benefit to us.
Okay.
Therefore, the Son of Man is Lord over the Sabbath. So how does what came before prove what comes after?
Does it not say that ye are gods? So how much more? That's what I'm thinking.
Exactly. So then
Wait.
how does what come before
That doesn't prove your
what
point,
comes
though.
after? It actually proves my point. How does
No,
what
it doesn't.
comes before? So tell me, how does what come before prove what comes after?
I'm reading it as, and I think I know. Okay, I'll just say it. I'm reading it as, so how much more the son of not how much more. I tried with that one. But so the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. I kind of see that as like its own like.
So how does that prove?
Its own
How does what
claim.
he
It's
said?
like a
So
separate
how does what he said before prove that he's Lord over the Sabbath?
Because if man can have allowance over the law, so the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath.
There you go. So this is not a divine claim. He says humans
That is.
are made, or the Sabbath was made for humans, and because I'm a human, I am Lord over the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for me. I, the Son of, even granting that the Son of Man is referring to Jesus here. I don't think it is, but granted, if let's say he's talking about himself, I'm a human. The Sabbath was made for me, so I am Lord over it.
Wait, real quick. So if let's say, okay, this is how I think it is referring to Jesus, because prior to it, it uses
already
terms like
granted.
man.
Already granted it. You don't have to.
No, I'm hip. But you don't necessarily agree with that. You
I don't agree with it because it's contextually wrong. But that's fine.
Well,
I can
no,
grant
it's not.
it.
In context, the context tells you how it's talking about Jesus.
Show me where the Son of Man is Jesus here.
Because before that, it uses terms like humankind and man in other translations.
Yeah, so show me where Son of Man is referring.
I got you.
Yeah.
Why would it not just continue with the same language if it's talking about the same group of people?
It is using the same language. Son of Man is used.
The Son of Man and humankind are two different things.
Son of Man is used for humanity all over the Bible.
Why did he continue with that thread of wording in this one?
He doesn't need to.
I think that's cap. I think what it does is it alludes to something different.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does. Humankind, mankind, then the Son of Man.
No, Son of Man.
You could say Son of Man.
Son of
Why
Man.
do you say Son of Man?
The Son of Man is like saying the human being.
Nah, because Son of Man is also used as well, correct?
Yeah, Son of Man in Hebrew and Aramaic means the human being.
Wait. The terming or the phrasing of Son of Man, is that used in the Bible as well?
Yes, to mean human being.
Separate, a different term. It's slightly different, but
Son of Man? It's the same term.
Wait, real quick. Well, Jeffrey. It's a different word. Son of.
No, Jeffrey. No. Nope. That's it. You're doing too much now. It's not the different words. It's the same exact word, Jeffrey. You're just being stubborn. It's getting on my nerves. Oh my God.